India. This latest skirmish was described by the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman like this.
On June 6, the border troops of two countries held a commander-level military meeting and reached an important consensus on easing the situation in the border areas. But what is shocking is that on June 15th, the Indian troops seriously violated the consensus of the two sides, crossed the border illegally twice, and carried out provocative attacks on Chinese personnel, resulting in serious physical conflicts between the two border forces.
George, how do you read this brawl? And then, Jay, I'll get your response after.
Well, it's much more serious than the flyers and the empty hut in Korea. These are two nuclear-armed superpowers arranged against each other and now killing each other's forces on a disputed border. That's a serious international crisis, if ever there was one. So it's important, I think, that the United Nations urgently convenes to try and contain this flashpoint. As I said to you earlier, from China's point of view, everything from Taiwan to the Tibet issue with the coronavirus in between is all an attempt by the United States to put pressure on China. And now we've had an about turn historically. Once upon a time, the Indian government was a great ally of Russia, saw itself as part of the socialist camp, but now under Prime Minister Modi is, of course, extremely close to the Trump view of the world. And the Chinese suspect that Modi and India are being used as a cat's paw to provoke China, to poke it in the eye. And that would be a very dangerous thing to do at any time. But when there's forces arranged from the South China Sea to the whole of the Asian area, which is now ringed by U.S. military bases and military activity, all aimed at China, it's terrifyingly dangerous.
Yeah, and Jay, I'll give you the last word on this. What do you think is India's take on this? I mean, we haven't heard from Narendra Modi. The Chinese are speaking out. Is this telling of what's to come between these two most populated countries of the world?
Well, I would just say that India is not being used as a pawn by anybody. They are an independent state and they have the right to make their own foreign policy decisions, and it is within their best interest, they feel, to align themselves with a more progressive model of development than China's. And so therefore aligning with the United States or seeing having more in common with the United States is not an indication of being used as a pawn. They are, however, they have been the receiving end of much of China's aggression for several decades. And this is also just a pattern of aggression that China exacts in the region in many ways against, let's say, Taiwan. They have a trade dispute with Australia that's getting awfully nasty. The issue with Hong Kong has boiled over to a point where China looks as if they are seeping in on democratic norms in Hong Kong. And now what we see here on this border clash is an aggressor trying to take territory when they themselves when economic ties with China across the world are being renegotiated and relooked at because of China's aggressive and predatory tactics.
All right, very good points by both of you, gentlemen.